much for having me today.
Pleasure. Good to meet you.
Good to meet you. So, tell me about Dragon's Den, this experience. I believe you've been filming with the guys.
Yeah.
What's that like for you? What's that been like for you?
It's been a massive experience. So we've finished filming now. Took us 3 to 4 weeks to do it. So it's a big thing. I didn't realise how big it was actually until you get involved in it. But these things come up in life. And what do you do if you say no? So I thought, let's just go for it. It's been a great experience. And it's great to be able to interface with entrepreneurs again, and I've made some investments.
Oh, really? Can you tell us how many investments you made roughly? Without giving too much away, because I understand it. Yeah.
Well, I've made probably about 4 or so,
yeah.
But now we're going through due diligence. So we need to make sure that they are what they say they are.
Yeah.
So there's a program, commitment obviously to invest,
sure.
And a lot of it is really the people, to be honest with you. And then you have to go through a process and a legal documentation. And hopefully close them up.
What qualities do you think are most important when someone's pitching you an idea?
So the ones that I tended to go for have, I said that there's more of a business that they've established it. It might be small, but they've established it, they've proven it, they're selling the product, there's a market for it, I can see there's growth potential. They haven't so much yet been, I've invented this, can you get it in B&Q?
Yeah.
So there's been a few of those, one little bit like that, but mainly sort of, and it's obviously it's the people, isn't it? It's the people, see a lot of people walk out, and if you like the business and the market and the model what they're doing, then really it's down to if you think you could work with them. That's very important. If you can't work with them, then it's no point.
And how do you work with people? How do you get on you personally?
So you're not running the business obviously, so you're an investor, and you're really sort of helping them, avoid the mistakes lots of entrepreneurs make. I know lots of entrepreneurs who want to talk about similar mistakes.
What kind of mistakes specifically?
Just think about the way you establish companies, structure them. So I'm a lawyer and a legal and finance background, so I've got a reasonably professional take on these things, how you structure. So it goes all the way from structuring to recruiting people and structuring their incentives to the business, cash flow, go-to-market strategies, do I sign exclusive deals, things like that at the outset. There's all these little tiny things that you come across, and also what you help me with is networks. So what you tend to have is which I'm discovering. I realised how big my network was, and I'm trying to use it. So it's networks. People need to meet people or get into somewhere, and you can open doors. There's a bit of mentoring, a bit of a door opening, some guidance, and let's not forget the money.
And how did you get involved with Dragon's Den? Who approached who?
They approached me, so I think I did the Millionaire program, so I did that, and then I haven't really been anywhere near TV since then, really. And then they approached me, and I think as a couple of the Dragons sort of left the program, there became a space. And I think it was important for me, I think for the producers to mix it up a bit. So I think it was actually it was time to make it change. If you saw the program, the last series, or one say 4 years ago, on TV, you probably couldn't tell the difference. Whereas I think what they've done this time is they've refreshed the format. So themselves, Kelly, the new sort of way of doing things, and then it's changed a little bit subtly. So I think it'll be a refreshed, more interesting program compared to the last.
And how would you describe your fellow Dragons? You've got Duncan Bannatyne, Peter Jones, and Deborah Meaden as well. How are they like?
We all got on very, very well. So for me,
very diplomatic.
Well, for me, turning up, it's quite a well-known program. They're quite well-known people. I didn't know any of them personally before. So you pitch them, it's quite big shoes, and because Kelly was new as well, there's 2 of us. So that helped. But I think we all got on, and the personas, they're edited in a way to bring out personas, I'm sure. And you meet someone like Deborah, she's the nicest lady you would ever want to meet, quite frank. And you just get to know these people very well. Because you do spend a lot of time with them, you spend like 4 weeks together, day and night working together. It's quite intense. So you do build relationships.
Great, and you still in contact with them now?
Well, I made hopefully it all goes through the investment with one of the other Dragons. So it's good. We're doing some promo stuff. They get involved, and they're very successful, interesting people as well.
Definitely. And tell me now a little bit about growing up. You grew up in the north west, in Lancashire, I believe. You started your own business when you were 13 years old. What were you doing at 13?
So it's funny, I never thought it was business until recently. People used to ask me about it. So I used to get up in the morning, 5 days a week. I think it was 6 days a week. Grim, like this is Lancashire, so it was freezing most of the time, raining. So I get up in the morning, 6 days a week, deliver newspapers to a local newsagent.
Okay.
I got paid a fiver. I wasn't late. I thought this is grim, I've got to do something else. So I don't know where the idea came from, but I basically did some flyers around the area, and I realised my dad hated picking up his Sunday papers. You had to get out of bed, go and get them, come back, then you could read them. So I did some flyers, and I built up a sort of paper round of people who wanted their Sunday papers delivered. And I did sort of this big round on Sunday mornings, and I earned 4 times as much just Sunday morning what I earned for the whole week.
Nice. And
then about 3 years later, when I became a bit old on the paper round, I sold the business. Not a huge amount, but to me it was a lot of money in those days.
Yeah.
But it was my first disposal.
So you effectively sold your clients onto.
Yeah, I sold it all round to the next young person that thought, can I do it? So
And in your biography, you say before you went to Manchester University of Manchester, you got your act together. What do you mean by that?
Well, I've always been sort of quite bright, I suppose, fair to say. But I didn't always apply myself. I was easily distracted by members of the sex, nightclubs, things like that. And what happened was, so I did my O-levels, and so I failed my 11 plus. So I didn't go to the grammar school. I went to the comprehensive school. So that was an interesting sort of start. My Bajan mum was not very happy about that. That's all I can tell you. So once I recovered from that, I missed my A-levels, didn't want to game. I got into a college. I didn't like the A-levels I was doing. Messed those up. Had to do some A-levels at nights. But but these things make you. So I did it at nights. I did law, and I thought I like law actually. And I got into university to do law and accounting. So really, what I realised was, when I was going to A-levels the second time, is that when Manchester University said to me, come on this course, if you get AAB. Now luckily, they let me do that over 2 years, because I'd always messed up 1 year at nights. And I realised, if I don't sort this out and get these grades, I won't be going to Manchester University. And I won't be doing this course I want to do. And then who knows what won't happen. That's when I sort of focused. And
what did you see yourself doing at that point in your life, before Manchester, or whilst at Manchester? Did you have any grand ambitions?
I also had grand ambitions, but I didn't really know. I couldn't really sort of picture what they were. So I was always interested in business.
Yeah.
So I used to do door-to-door sales of like household goods, which wasn't really a business, but you had to be a self-starter. And a lot of my mum and dad's friends were local business people, so they're all sort of making trailers or joiners. And I thought business was about numbers and accounting, so I thought I want to be an accountant. And one of the issues you have, probably my background, lots of other young people, is you don't often know what's out there. You don't really know so you've got to sort of, get a step up so you can see a bit further, and the next step and see a bit further. And I went through that, so I didn't know what law was until I got into university. I didn't know what investment banking was until I got into law. I didn't know what private equity was or alternative finance was until I got into banking. So really, it's taken me a lot of sort of small stepping stones to sort of find out what. And even today, I don't really know what I want to do when I grow up with it. You just sort of get on with it, and you end up in a place.
Would you describe yourself as a self-made millionaire?
Yeah, started with.
And what do you think of that term, self-made? Do you agree with it? Because there's some people that debate self.
Well, very rarely you get handed £1 million unless you win a lottery. So it tends to be
true, but
you've got people inheriting money, I suppose.
No, there's people that say no one can be a self-made millionaire because you're relying on other people to buy your products in the first place. There's always that kind of interconnectedness or interdependence, you could say, between how you work with people in the relationship.
I mean, if you zoom out, lots of people support you. So you could say your family supports you. You could say, the team. I mean, you can't run a business on your own. But at the end of the day, if you look at our business, the vision and the substantial investment risk came primarily from myself and my business partner. So I'd say my business partner, Simon, I'd say we probably, we made money before clearly, but this business, we probably all that together, I would say.
And what's your kind of philosophical idea of money and how it's used? A relationship with money?
So for me, it is a means. So for me, building business at the end of the day is a means to an end, and the means to the end is to make money, to honest with you.
Okay.
And the reason to make money really is to provide for my family and have fun with my friends.
Yeah.
Because in 100 years, no one will care. And that's it, really. It's simple as that.
Yeah.
I'm driven by, being able to provide security for the people that matter to me.
I see. So that's your idea of what money is about. Perhaps is providing for people you care about.
But also because of my background and my skill set. So to me, money in a way is a tool, isn't it? It's a way of doing what I do. So if I want to have an investment fund to invest in young companies or even reasonably well-established businesses, I need a pot of money. So where do I get that from? I've either got to ask somebody else to give me that pot of money to invest for them, or make it myself. And the thing for me that really annoyed me over the years is always having to use other people's money in a way. So at least now, it's different now with institutional investors because they're structured there for a reason. But increasingly over the years, you build your own balance sheet. So if you want to go and do something, you just go and do it yourselves.
It seems like you're saying money is more of a means now. It's not necessarily just an end, not just to get the money, but how you use the money.
Well, there's two things in a way.
Yeah.
So there's two things. So I say that at the end of the day, everything really in terms of making money is to provide for people that matter. Okay? But what I enjoy doing is building businesses, investing in businesses. And to do that, you need capital. And that's one of the things as an entrepreneur, one of the things we struggle with our source with is accessing capital. So we've always decided really just to plough back in the money we've made, invest it in the business.
Arguably, looking at your record, you seem to take a keen interest in young people and giving back to society, not just necessarily the people you personally know, but strangers, for example. You've worked with Reach, you were a role model.
I was a role model.
So tell me about that and how being a role model has...
So these things grow, don't they? So I was approached to become a government role model in 2008 it was.
Yep.
Basically to raise the aspirations of young black men and young black boys is what we focused on. Because there was such an issue. So I did that for 2 years. And we went to schools and events and colleges and spoke to young people. I mean, all from different backgrounds. So there was people who work for government, there's people who were in the armed forces, a fireman, there was a guy on TV doing the weather. Real mix of people, just so they could just see, okay, there are role models and people that I could aspire to be, rather than maybe some people that I shouldn't be aspiring to be. So that was a great experience. So I did that, and then I think through that, I ended up being recognised on the Power List. And then through that you get recognised as a secret millionaire, and then from that maybe Dragon's Den. So they're all big stepping stones in a way. But I've always tried to put back, because I mean one of the other things about making money is you can do that.
Yeah, exactly. That's it. So again, a means to an end of giving back and being maybe. I've probably
given away more money in a few years than I've invested.
That's very interesting. What are your thoughts on the current economic climate, particularly with young black male unemployment? Recently, it's been in the news.
You did a lot of interviews.
well, briefly, and where do you stand on the issue where the government's cutting in certain places, and how?
It's very tricky. You've got the macro issues,
of course,
and there's micro issues, and there's even specific.
Let me be more specific with my question then. How do you see the role of the private investor in society, and where you can help? Where can you best help?
Very hard. So when I made the Secret Millionaire, what's quite interesting is that I was in a young offenders institution. Now, in my daily life, it's very rare walking to a room and I see anyone that looks like me. So, and by me, I mean specifically someone of, I say, West Indian heritage. Maybe not African. I've worked with lots of, sort of wealthy Africans in the city and various other places. But West Indian heritage is very rare. I walk in a young offenders institution and everyone looks like me. And I was like, oh right, okay. And what I learned from that actually is that you look at the issues there and how you want to help people. This is very specific, and you realise that you could throw $1 billion at it, pounds, and it would bounce off. So there was things like that where you think, how it needs systemic change from the top down. It's very difficult for one person to make that kind of difference. I mean, people like the Giving Pledge, the billionaires who like Bill Gates and Buffett and that lot, even Richard Branson actually, who committed to give away a lot of their fortune. Even there, they can struggle to make your impact. So the question it boils down to is, at the end of the day, you can do what you can do. And I think if everybody did what they could do, did their bits, it aggregates into change. But you can't. It's very hard for you to make change. I mean, I've got ideas, charities I want to start. So once I get the business floating on the stock market, get that out of the way, the charities I want to start, which are actually more about providing young people with access to experience in business or companies. So typically it's about placements, internships, and it's a pain. And they tend to be a way of pre-interviewing for the job you might get in the future. So, for example, if you want to invest, pick an investment bank. If you want an investment bank, and you come from a certain socio-economic background, you probably never get into that internship. And my idea really is to give kids experience, teenagers, but it's blind to the socio-economic ethnic background.
And their postcodes where they live.
They're just blind. If I'd seen what a law firm looks like, or a trading floor, or a bank, or a private equity house when I was 16, I might have shortcut my career.
In terms of the political economy, where would you stand in terms of maybe Keynesian economics or maybe Milton Friedman's idea of how to run?
It's a tricky one, isn't it?
Yeah, where would you...
I mean, you saw the thing, I was reading the TV this morning about the housing stimulus, helping people to buy houses, and you kind of like, you've got this sort of the non-trust approach, and now there's a bit of Keynesian slipping in. I think people, you're getting, I studied economics, but getting stuck on these particular ways of doing things is one way of looking at it. The world's changed. Maybe it needs a bit of both. But I do think, if you look at America, you look at what Obama's done out there in terms of the sort of stimulus packages, that seems to have made a difference. And I'm thinking here we may have missed the trick there.
Cutting too quickly.
I think it's a blend. I think it's wrong to say we're going to do this or that. And I think, politics at the end of the day, we do that, and then why are you doing that? And then, I don't know.
Do you see yourself ever taking a role in politics? I mean, Lord Alan Sugar, he's been advising the Labour Party previously.
I get asked the question quite a lot.
Yeah. I mean, which party would you?
That's the other thing. That's my point. Is I'm not too bothered about left, right, middle, whatever it might be. It's getting the job done.
Yes.
That's my approach.
Sure.
So I think it'd be interesting working with not just with parties but initiatives that I think actually could make a difference. I don't really care what colour tie they're wearing.
Yeah, very interesting. And in your free time, how much free time do you get? I understand you love mountain biking. Tell me about that and your hobbies.
Not enough at the moment. Quite hectic, sort of, especially 2013 been quite hectic. But we always make time for it. So I'm going with my friends mountain biking in the middle of nowhere in Wales for a few months. So I do love it, but it's also to keep fit.
Yeah.
About downhill mountain bike riding is you have to get up it up first.
Yeah.
In this country, there's no uplift for it. So it's something I love doing, but again, it's about finding that balance between the work life, personal life, and hobbies.
I see. And how did you get involved in mountain biking?
So I used to race BMXs and ride them. Ride BMX when I was 16, and then a good friend of mine. And then years later, like 10 years ago, I met him in London. He had a big downhill bike. I said, "What is that?" And he told me about it, and I had to go, and I fell for it. So I've got a room at home just full of bikes, about 5 bikes, all different types.
You into road biking at all? Do you travel around cycling
road bike?
Yeah.
I commute to work. I haven't done it today, but I commute every day. And I wake up in the morning. I think, should I ride the road bike, cross bike, the mountain bike, the street bike?
Spoiled for choice.
Yeah.
Did you ever see yourself advising Boris Johnson on transport in London? Cycling's off.
I could do. Well, if he wants to have a chat about it. I mean, I've had a few moments on the London road. I mean, it does need to be. It does need to change.
Definitely. And tell me about growing up with a dual heritage. How was that for you in the northwest?
Well, to me, it's been a gift. You have 2 cultures. Dad's white from Manchester, and Mum's Bajan. And actually, when they got married, that was quite rare. It's that way around, basically. So it's a gift. So you've got 2 cultures. Now, where I grew up though was a small mill town, and I was the only kid out of 2,500 in my school with any kind of Western inheritance. That's all. So there were a few interesting moments. Let's just say I became quite able to look after myself. But
what do you mean by interesting? You had kids picking on you?
Well, yeah, because obviously, I would say kids, they call you this, that, fat, ginger, and I was easy. So it was quite easy to pick some names to wind me up. But it was that. There were a few issues there, but I generally quite enjoyed school and growing up there. Yeah, it was quite different.
Do you get a chance to travel back to Barbados?
Yeah. So probably every 2 years, 3 years, about. I've been involved with the Barbados Entrepreneurship Foundation. I was out there like a year ago. I want to go back. It's just finding the time.
And how would you describe yourself in a sentence, briefly? Where you are right now in life?
I'm just getting started. People will say to me, you're interviewing me and something about, are you successful? I think, really, no, I'm just getting going. It's only really now you're beginning to find your feet and put businesses in a certain position. You've got a platform, and you're sort of reasonably young. It's just getting going.
How old are you right now? how do you measure success?
So one is when I get out Monday morning, when I want to get out of bed. Usually I'm very happy about it. And I think, I'll split in money, because what you do, it's measured on profits and returns, and what your business is worth, and how much you. But again, it's about that. People that matter to you, actually, are they happy, and how you having fun.
And one final question: how would you like to be remembered after you're gone? Maybe at your funeral. What would you like people to say?
So I would like to do something. So one thing I've always been interested in, I wrote a thesis about at university, is social business. So one of the things that I've always been interested in is the social businesses that people to scale properly. They need to have a revenue model, a profit model, and be able to attract capital. That's when you can sort of make real change. It would be great to have something you've created that you can leave, the next generation, or it continues beyond your life. Not just business, so something like that. But depends how long you're talking about. In 1,000 years, it will be.
I mean, would you like the term philanthropist to be used actually yourself?
Yeah,
business tycoon, or what kind of
tycoon? Well, philanthropist is probably the wrong word for me.
Yeah.
But I want to create something that is not just about giving money away.
Yeah.
It's a self-sustaining business, if you like it, but it's not. It doesn't generate profit. It still gets plowed back, but it's sustainable and it can grow.
Smart investments, I guess.
Yeah, well, a real social. I've got ideas about how to do it, and then people like you are seeing them evolve now. They are sort of coming out of the woodwork, and some quite big, but something like that.
Great. Anything else you'd like to add? Let the Voice readers and viewers know about yourself and your business ideas in the future.
I don't know. As I said, I think watch this space. I think we're just getting going. There's lots to do, and I think I'm actually really questioning my sort of. My sort of heritage, my background is very important to me, and I still don't see enough people at business meetings, events, partners, suppliers, customers that look like me, and that's still annoying me, and that's something that needs to change.
Well, Piers, real pleasure talking to you. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Brilliant.
Thank you.